Blocking and tackling, the unsexy things. It's election, obviously, season. Does it even count as season when it's tomorrow? But it's election season. And we're all into it. We're all into it. But some of us are doing something and some of us are fans. That's just the bottom line. And maybe that's you. And if you feel bad about what I'm about to say, I'm sorry, just change it next election cycle. You want to have a big red wave tomorrow, Trump to win and House and all that. Have you done something about it? Anything? No. Wearing a MAGA hat is not doing something. That is not. Have you done any blocking and tackling? Stuff you won't be celebrated for. No one's going to cheer you on the internet. Oh, you just made 100 phone calls down at campaign headquarters? That's the stuff that matters. Joining me now, the guy who's been doing a lot for quite some time, Ned Ryun, author of the book American Leviathan. Ned, you've been all over the whole blocking and tackling thing in this election. As a whole, how are we doing? From the outside looking in, it looks like we're doing better than I've ever seen. But what am I looking at?
No, you're correct, Jesse. This whole project I've been doing with American Majority Action really began coming out of the midterms in 22 when I honestly had to pick myself up off the floor. I was so depressed from the midterm results and thought I'd missed everything in politics. I wasn't sure even what I knew about politics at that point. And sifting through the rubble of the midterms, realized a lot of these states, these key states, had not done any absentee ballot generation or chase. And so I determined after that it would never happen again and put plans in place, pitched donors, and got the money secured really beginning of 23 to do pilot projects in Louisiana, Virginia to demonstrate, we've got to start generating more absentee ballots among mid to low prop voters. We have to put teams in place to actually chase the ballots in to get no less than 80% in. And then those that don't get a ballot, we need to push them to go vote early as soon as possible, especially the mid to low prop voters. Succeeded in 23 with those pilot programs in Louisiana, Virginia, and then pitched these donors and said, we got to go to 4 key battleground states. In 24, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. And, we've had about 1,600 people in the field, Jesse. It's been pretty hard. I won't lie. This has been a pretty significant project, but it's worthwhile. And the historical things that we are seeing right now, not only in those 4 states I mentioned, but other states as well, like Georgia, it's pretty incredible to see what Republicans have done in regards to absentee ballot return and early vote statistics. For example, let me just point out Nevada. We've had a team of over 300 people in Nevada, in Clark County, and people have begun to realize something very different is going on this year in 2024 in Clark County. There's no blue wall. And in fact, as of today, Republicans were leading the state by over 43,000 votes, Jesse, causing real consternation among Democrats because they don't understand what's going on. And so then people ask me, so with this absentee ballot and early voting push, Ned, have we cannibalized our election day voters? Not nearly as much as they have, Jesse. So not only have we put Republicans in the lead in Arizona and Nevada and North Carolina and given us a real fighting chance in Wisconsin coming into election day, if we perform as we should, according to historical trends on election day, I feel very confident that we are going to have some very good results to report tomorrow night.
Okay, Ned, you have this team of 1,600 people. You've been chasing down these ballots. Can you explain who these 1,600 people are? Why are they here now and they weren't before? What got them up off the couch, got them involved? What happened?
Focus and funding, Jesse. I was determined to make this a focus for the grassroots, for the Republican Party writ large, and then funding. This has not been a focus of Republicans outside of Florida recently for us to do absentee ballot generation and chase. I determined that was never going to happen again. So it became one of those things that this is going to be a focus. We did trainings through American Majority, our C3, starting really at the beginning of 2023 to say, hey, ballot out, ballot in. That's the initiative. You have to get comfortable with that. And then come 2024, we're going to start paying people to do doors, phones, texting, layered in some postcards, did all this, some auxiliary stuff. But it was a matter of us having the focus and the funding to be able to accomplish this. And honestly, Jesse, I think it's all going to work. I think this is above and beyond what I thought it would be coming into election day. And the other thing, too, I'll tell you about this. I told you about Nevada. Look at Wisconsin. Joe Biden was up 640,000 votes going into election day in 2020, only held off by about 20,000 votes Kamala is barely in the lead, barely over 200,000 votes, over 400,000 votes short of where Joe Biden was coming into election day in Wisconsin. So I think it's put some of these states into play that we thought, we've got to win them to give Donald Trump a chance to get into the White House again.
Ned, explain this chasing ballot process. And I want you to explain it in this way. There are a lot of people watching who want to be involved. They want to be part of what you're talking about. And while they may not be able to be involved now, in the future, we have a lot of battles to win.
Yep.
So can normal people do this?
Yes. Yeah, these are normal people. Of the 1,600 people, 1,200 of them are just grassroots workers, people that are in the various states that we've said, we need you to be a part of this. I've hired some people to do some door knocks, an outside firm to layer in some of the stuff I'm doing. But the overwhelming majority of these are just grassroots people that we're paying an hourly wage for doors, hourly wage for phones, to be out there doing these things. But Jesse, my goal is, first of all, we have to win tomorrow night. We have to have a spectacular election day. I feel good about that. But this has to become second nature for us. We have to continue on in 2025 and beyond and say, we're going to turn Arizona into Florida. We're going to turn Nevada into Florida, Wisconsin, North Carolina, all these into Florida, and actually get it to the point where we feel that we've got these states changed in such a way that the electoral map has changed considerably since 2028, in 2028, so that there's not that many battleground states. And so everyday people have to get comfortable in realizing this ballot chase, and let me explain in very simple terms, it's a series of targeted harassment. We know who has a ballot in, say, Arizona. Every day that list changes as we do calls, as we do door knocks, as we text. So the next day the list is smaller, until people return their ballots. Once they return their ballots, we remove them from the list so we can then refocus our efforts to go after those ballots that are still outstanding. So as we come down the home stretch, once we exceed that 80% return, we keep on pushing to try and get to maybe 81, 82, 83% to push that margin out even further.
Ned, explain the gender gap panic. Obviously, everyone knows in general, women are going to get the Democrats are going to get the woman vote, Republicans are going to get the man vote. As of right now, more women have voted than men. Why shouldn't I be panicking today?
Well, we're looking at election day turnout for tomorrow, like say in Pennsylvania. And we feel pretty confident that if we do our efforts correctly, if those that work in Pennsylvania, I'm not there, but if they do their efforts correctly, you're going to see a significant uptick in the male vote. We've got a lot of high propensity voters that are still on the sidelines that are going to be coming out tomorrow in Pennsylvania. I think you're going to close down that gender gap significantly. Do I think it'll still be majority women? I do. Do I think it'll be less than it was in 2020? 100%.
Ned, all right, that's enough of the White House talk. We have a House to win. We have a Senate to win. We don't have to go into the individual states, but the House and Senate are critical, absolutely critical. How are those races looking? Because you look at a lot of these polls, places like Arizona, and you see Trump is up, Kari Lake is not. How do the down ballot races look? Because they matter a lot.
They do. I think we're going to pick up for sure 3 Senate seats. West Virginia is a done deal. I think Montana was over weeks ago. I'm pretty sure Bernie Moreno is going to get those coattails from Donald Trump in Ohio and pull that seat out. And I have to tell you, Jesse, as we're closing as hard as we are with the AV-EV coming into election day, I just get the sneaking suspicion we're going to take another Senate seat or 2. My best bet, and in descending order, my best bets would be this. Pennsylvania is a strong potential with Dave McCormick, and then you got Eric Hovde would be my second pick in Wisconsin. And I have to tell you, if Trump closes as hard as I think he is, and we expand that lead in Arizona, don't be surprised if suddenly Kari Lake comes across the finish line first. And I have to tell you, one of the surprises, if things go really, really well on the East Coast tomorrow night as we go out west, Sam Brown might sneak it. He's a long shot, I'll tell you that. It's very much a long shot, but we're going to pick up the Senate and the House. I think we're probably going to end up with a slim majority, 10, 15 seats. But I'm starting to get more optimistic. And the reason I say that is we picked North Carolina for a reason, not only because it's a key battleground state. There are 4 House pickup opportunities because the Supreme Court redrew the lines. I think we're picking up 3 of those 4 seats, and we might pick up the 4th tomorrow night, but it's going to be close.
Oh, fingers crossed. Ned, you are the man, my brother. Let's hope we're celebrating tomorrow. I'll toast to you if we do. Thank you for your work. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.